Hey guys, welcome to the show. We're going to be talking about UFC 242 and a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to talk about Khabib versus GSP, John Jones rumors, the Cowboy Gaethje fight this weekend, all that and more in just a few seconds. Boom! Welcome to the show, guys. We appreciate it so much. Thanks for tuning in so much. If you're on the YouTube side of the situation, there seems to be some issues, so I apologize. Facebook seems to be up and running just fine, so we'll figure that out. But thank you for joining us wherever you are. We appreciate it so much. Real quick, want to give a quick shout out to one of our sponsors, Anstill Nutrition. Go to Anstill Nutrition and enter promo code Combat Insiders for 15% off of your entire purchase. So check them out. We've got a link down in the description. If you look at the details section of the video, you will see it. And there you go. Nick's doing the hard job over there. But it'll be down in the description. Please check it out. AnstillNutrition.com. Promo code Combat Insiders. We appreciate you so much. Justin Sims, what's up, fella? My man, Justin
there
Sims.
he is.
There he is. We did the UFC 242 companion with him and all his whole crew down where he's at. That was a good time with the whole Punchline gang. Good time and some good fights. Before we get into UFC 242, what can we touch on first? Oh. So let's do, I guess, it's just maybe a small little announcement. You guys ready? Small little announcement.
I'm ready.
You ready? Yeah. Nick, I think the website is launching on Monday. Is that true?
I've heard that. I've heard something
to
that effect. It's possible. It's very possible. It's a rumor.
Wait. Who'd you hear from?
Rumors. Yeah.
Who'd you hear from? Wait, that
way. Yeah.
This way? That way?
That way.
Ooh.
Fingers crossed. Fingers
crossed. New website launch. Guys, you aren't ready for this. I'm just saying you aren't ready. The amount of work that has gone into this venture, the amount of time, the amount of work. I'm tired just thinking about it. But the grind is worth it. Anything that's worth it needs a little bit of elbow grease, am I right? So we put a lot of work into this, just many different aspects. Of course, you already know the new logo, the new little nice little package and everything, changing up the little video packages, changing up the intros.
But the site.
We've really gone through everything, but the site really is the – I don't want to use this. This is an old school term. It shows my age, but it's the whole kit and caboodle, right? The site is the kit and caboodle. Like it is the it is the coup de grace, right? This is the entire thing. Like the logo, as big a deal as it was, this is small fries compared to the site. And I'm just saying, and it's launching. I think we're going to have a soft launch on Monday, and you'll be able to access that. So we're super pumped for it. Today on the show, we're going to be having a BKFC re-announcer, Mr. Live Worldwide, Jeff Houston. He will be in any minute. We're also going to have former UFC fighter, Jose Shorty Torres. He's in the Titan now. Love the guy. He's cool as hell. We talked to him out we were in Tampa for the Paulie Artem fight, and he did the commentary with us. Go back and check that out. That's some funny stuff, man. Don't laugh, Nick. Don't laugh, because you're gonna make me laugh. That's some funny stuff. Seriously, it's some funny stuff, because we had Jason Knight, we had Jim Alers on, and we did like commentary, like actually set up while we were in the stands watching actually watch the fight, and it was pretty cool.
And speaking of Tampa,
yep,
there's another Tampa coming.
Well, Why don't you tell us about that, Nick? What's behind that door?
That's behind the door. Will be at BKFC number 8 in Tampa, October 19th.
Okay.
Landing on the 17th, returning on the 20th. So you will have that whole time frame of pre and post fight stuff, and the infamous 4-hour live stream by accident in the lobby. The accidental 4-hour live stream.
The accidental 4-hour live stream.
It was accidental. Man. It was accidental.
Who did we not have? That's probably the shorter list. We had Lytle on. We had Stitch on.
We had Travis Thompson on. We had Sheena Starr on. We had everybody.
Reggie Barnett showed up. Tom Schoaf, of course, showed up. We had Mr. Lavrel Wide. He even stopped by when we did it.
That was a perfect. It's
a perfect storm, right?
Well, so just the way the hotel was set up, we did it in a spot where everybody that walked by, it was in the right spot. Then we had Joe Curcio from the Hall of Fame, Scott Burr from the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we did.
Gary Grant, the Ring creator, the Squared Circle creator. There was a lot of people.
Hey, well, we really appreciate that, Justin Sims. I'm gonna pop that up there. We appreciate you saying that.
Hell yeah.
Guys, please, if you like the show, do us a favor. It helps us out a lot, and it just takes a second. Like the video, hit the subscribe button. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you're on Facebook, hit the follow button. Share the stream any way you can. It helps us out a ton. We've gotten a lot of great feedback as of late. We've got a lot of followers just over the last couple weeks. I mean, the numbers have skyrocketed. So, I hope we're doing something right. The numbers prove that, but, we're just trying to bring you the best content that we absolutely can. And, hopefully you guys are enjoying it. So we enjoy coming to you frequently as we do. And we just appreciate it so much. With that said, we're going to bring in the man himself, the man with the power, the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour.
Oh, boy.
Mr. Jeff Houston, Mr. Live Worldwide.
There he is.
Oh, man, that's what I call an intro, man. Getting a little superstar Billy Graham on.
That's right. Superstar Billy Graham.
We just listen to the stuff you say and steal it.
You don't think I already know that? Come on, guys, get with it.
Jeff, what's up, my friend?
Not a whole lot. What's going on with you guys?
Same old, man. We just chilling. You've been traveling the world the last couple weeks, right? Weren't you in Korea right? Is that where you were at last week?
I did Krasnodar, Russia 2 weeks ago, and last week I was in Daegu, Korea, which is about 4 hours outside of Seoul.
Wow.
I've seen that on a map, both places.
Hey, you know what? You posted something, and I need to follow up with you about it. You posted something about showing how to properly pack a bag to get the most bang for your buck.
Mm-hmm.
I need that tutorial video, Jeff.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that. Pretty soon I'm going to be running off a series of videos because it's amazing how many people positively responded to just that. It was just, an on-the-spot thing I decided to do. It really wasn't crazy detailed. I mean, I can get into so much more OCD crazy detail than that, which you will see in my upcoming video series. And I honestly think that it's going to really open people's eyes to the way that you travel and what you can bring and what you shouldn't bring. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, like you said, everybody could take advantage of that. Everybody and their mama could take advantage of that, man. Like we struggle. I know I struggle with with camera equipment and stuff like that. And it's just like, it's because most of the stuff I have, I mean, I don't have anything like near me, but I've got like some tripods and they're just awkward shape, and trying to fit them bad boys in there. It was a chore, but it is what it is.
I hear you, man.
Real quick, before we go to UFC 242, I do want to talk about something that was confirmed this past week. And that's the co-main event for BKFC 8. We hadn't touched on that yet. The Alers versus Julian Lane fight. I tell you what, man. I've said it before, and I don't want to mark out too bad because it's not a marking out. I just think it's a fact. I really do think that Jim Alers is really he's just something special. I really believe that, and I think that even though I know he was UFC prior, but I think Jim Alers is really going to be bare knuckles really first breakout star. I just see it. Like I think he has all the tools. He's a good looking guy. He's a stud, man. He knocks people out. He's a good talker. I mean, he just has all the tools, I think, to be presented on a main stage. What do you guys think?
I think he's exactly what David Feldman is looking for. He's looking for someone to push the pace, stay in the circle, and knuckle up, man. And he's, he's pretty much the epitome of an aggressive pace for a bare knuckle fighter. I mean, seriously, our jaws dropped last bare knuckle against Leonard Garcia. I honestly thought that was going to be a very competitive bare knuckle fight, and boy, how wrong we were.
Yeah. No,
it happens.
Yeah, it does happen. No, we thought the same thing, because I think even me and Nick, I forgot our predictions. What did we say our predictions was for that fight? Did we say going the distance or something? I forgot
we did. We did actually say going the distance on that one, because of the stamina that we've seen from both athletes. And it didn't look like it when it was first marketed out there. The first thing I said is that nobody's going to take a back step. Nobody's going to want to take a back step. Nobody's going to want to get on their bike on this fight. Yeah. They're going to want to push that pace forward, because that's what both of them do. That's what both of them were synonymous for in their previous outings. So that's why I think that a lot of us were really surprised about that, because, to have Jim Alers shut down a veteran like Leonard Garcia, who was so impressive against Jim's opponent coming up at BKFC 8, Julian Lane.
Yeah, what's weird though, but like fight math doesn't work, because they both, even though Leonard and Julian fought, they both present a different problem to their opponent.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I don't really see Julian taking steps back either. This is the same kind of thing. I don't think he knows how to take steps back. And he's willing to just let's just stand in the circle. Although he did have a very good tactical outing against Tom Schoaf, I thought that was a really good fight when they fought. This one's going to be the same. I don't want to make a prediction because I'll be wrong. I'm sure.
I think
I'll just let it go.
It's too difficult to make a prediction against people who like to push the pace, because it's so easy to make a prediction, as we previously did against Leonard Garcia, and how wrong we were. So when you know that you have two offensive fighters that are pushing the pace, I don't think a prediction is actually warranted. I think it's when you know that you have maybe someone who's pushing their pace and their opponent might be a little bit more technical. Now, in that situation, it's so much easier to probably make a prediction, because one is against the other. I mean, it's, apples and oranges. So when you have apples and oranges, I think it's a little bit easier to make a prediction.
We should just enjoy this one.
100%.
No, well, you front row seat right there, but we'll all the rest of us will enjoy.
100%. Guys, we got Jose Shorty Torres waiting in the wings here. We're going to bring him on in just a second. But first, we're going to take a quick 30-second break, and when we come back, we're going to have Jose Shorty Torres.
Brad Bishop with And Still Nutrition. And shout out to the Combat Insiders for allowing us the opportunity to introduce ourselves. We're a supplement company geared towards combat sports. We're designed with the fight in mind, so don't cut weight without us.
Boom, Yo. There we are. Mr. Torres, what's going on, brother?
Getting ready to do my second workout of the day.
Okay. What was the first one like?
Oh, well, we ended up doing sparring today, and I have a Napoleon complex, so anytime there's a big guy in the little mats, I'm like, I'm calling him, dibs, I want the big guy. So Tuesday, I ended up going with Kevin Siler, and man, we were having a great go, but Kevin, he just called me going square backwards and just landed a nice, beautiful knee right to the solar plex, almost dropped me, and it was like Mickey Ward versus Arturo Gatti, where, Arturo Gatti takes that body shot, just puts his hands down to his body, and Mickey Ward's just teeing off, and I'm just like this on my face. So I was like, dude, I got to get some redemption on Thursday. Given I'm not trying to hurt my opponent, I'm not trying to best anyone. It's all, class and trying to get more technical. And today was a really, really good day. So overall, I'm happy. my head doesn't hurt, so that's definitely a beneficial thing. And me, I'm just doing my thing. Yeah, CTE's on the way, just hopefully not anytime soon.
Nah, you'll be all right, man. So, I mean, what have you been up to, Shorty? It's been a minute. We haven't talked to you since, we last saw you in Tampa when we did the infamous live commentary down there in Tampa. But what have you been up to, man?
That was a good time, Jason Knight. Shout out Jason Knight. That was freaking awesome. Anywho,
We'll just leave
I
that
just want
be.
to say, I just want to say, anytime Jason Knight said something, I was just like, damn, I got to roll with this. All right, cool. Let's just keep it going.
Just know
But
before you finish whatever you're gonna say, I do have the B-roll footage that I can. Well, I gotta give it to Nick first, but I do have the B-roll footage that didn't quite make it to air. So anyway, sorry,
Extra.
I have all the extra. But
that,
go ahead.
that is definitely some valuable stuff right there.
Yeah.
But overall, man, I was supposed to fight in August for Brave.
Okay.
I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but they postponed me to a different event. I do have possible word of the event, but nothing's confirmed, so I'm just waiting. So I can't announce anything yet. I can't give any little speculation. Everything has to be a surprise, which I hate keeping secrets. But it's going to be a huge event, man. I'm fighting a guy who's actually ranked above me, which for me, that's all I want to do. I want to just keep on growing in the sport, create my own legacy. I'm 27. I want to get a title fight. I want to keep on making some big things happen. I have nothing but time in the sport. So for me, it's in a sense, I had my one loss, even though I haven't lost before that since 2010. I was on like a 33, 34 fight winning streak.
Yeah.
In a sense, to myself, I want my own little redemption and keep on proving a point. And so far, I did it in my last fight, and I want to keep on doing it in this next one.
Well, sounds good, brother. Well, keep us posted, man. I mean, I know, like I said, I know you can't say anything early, but keep us posted, brother. We'll definitely share the info.
Yeah,
Just keep us posted.
It's not the funnest, but man, getting back down to 25 and working at it. So I was here 2 months before August. So I was here in June, July, and then they told me in August, like, hey man, I'm sorry, we're moving you last minute.
Yeah.
Things came up. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's part of the sport. It sucks, but worse comes to worse. I end up getting 2 months better instead of staying home for however long and just waiting and now coming back for a training camp. So it's just all really beneficial. So I'm trying to look at the upside and go from there.
Hey, that's a good I guess I'll kind of segue into that because I've often wondered when it comes to say, you're going through camp for a fight, right? And something happens and the fight gets postponed, it gets canceled. Is that, like you said, the positive of that is, well, I had 2 hard months of training, of sparring, or whatever it is you did. Now it's just going to make me better for when I actually do get the fight. Or is it like a drag and you're like, Jesus Christ, man, I spent 2 fucking months, Oh, I think we lost a Shorty. There he is. There he is.
Sorry. My coach loves me. Knowing him, he'll probably call me back.
Thank you.
So for me, it really depends on how you look at it.
Yeah.
I'm 27, so for me, I don't have much wear and tear in my body. Yeah, I fought some wars, but I'm not 32, 33, 34. If I'm older, then yeah, it's like I'm putting wear and tear in my body that I didn't need to. I'm trying to, have this longevity in the sport. But me being 27, I'm not even in my prime yet. So I have nothing but time, and I need experience to grow. Well, I was getting ready like if I was training for a fight. It wasn't just me going in the gym and just, cool, I'm going to lift these weights and I might do that over there and just go home. Here, I was going to the gym with goals and a purpose. So for me, 2 straight months of that, honestly, man, and I've been posting a lot on my social media. It's not just physically. I think mentally, I'm getting closer to my peak, and that's been a huge thing. I had 2 real bad performances in the UFC, given whatever behind the scenes. But mentally, I was definitely burnt out. I was breaking. Now it's kind of like I needed that ass kicking in a sense to be rejuvenated to really figure out why I'm doing this sport, and I'm really in a sense happy. And I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to training. Instead of going to work like, damn, I got to do this again, knowing what I'm going to do. Damn, I got to get punched in the face by this guy.
Yeah.
Damn. So now it's I'm going in there with motivation. I'm going in there having fun. I don't care if I call ATT a prison upstairs because that's how it is. It's just gray walls, 1 big window, and that's pretty much it. You go downstairs to work, go back upstairs in your cell. So for me, it's like a military school, but I'm taking it in the most positive way possible. Going, hey, 2 months passed, cool. I have possibly another 2 months for another fight. That's just gonna make me that much better.
Well, like you said, brother, I mean, what's the saying, right? It takes adversity to grow. It takes you got to go out of your comfort zone in order to grow. And you can either take the losses and, like you said, be bummed out about it, or you could take it as an experience learning tool and do exactly what you're doing, man. So bravo to
Well,
you,
I
man.
think even thank you, but I think even besides that, I mean, it's always going to be a bummer. It's kind of like just
Sure,
getting up to go to work.
sure,
Work
sure.
is always going to suck.
Sure.
But it's the way you look at it, and that's I've been, I have my own series inside Think Shorty, which now I've moved to Rock Fitness out of YouTube. But that's where I'm trying to break things down to get people to understand that, like, it's pride and ego, this and that, and just the way you look at things. And hell, I'm getting punched in the face still trying to remember some of the things I'm talking about. But it's just being able to have a positive look on it. I mean, I've had so many injuries in the sport as a pro, only 3 years as a pro, but I've been hurt more in 10 fights than 26 as an amateur, plus the hundreds in wrestling and all that stuff. You gotta be positive about it. It's part of the sport, and just go from there.
Well, 100%, brother. And I guess let's kind of segue into obviously there was a big show this past weekend, UFC 242. Before we get to the main event, I'd like to talk about the Felder Barboza fight, right? Once again, went to a decision like their first fight. Barboza won the first time. Felder won this time by decision. A lot of people were feeling a certain kind of way about it. If you guys watched it, I'm kind of curious to hear your thoughts. I guess, Jeff, let me start with you, Jeff. Like, how did you think it went down, man? Did you think it was the right call, not the right call?
I'm going to tell you, man, one of the things that I love listening to is all the marks out there saying, oh, he was robbed. He was robbed. Oh, boo fucking who. Just so, crying about that stuff, when they're really not watching the fight for what it is. And I think a lot of these fight fans who think that he was robbed on that, I was like, what fight were you watching? I clearly had Paul for that one. I'm sorry. I mean, you may disagree with me. You may say that, I'm smoking crack, but you know something? I believe that Paul Felder earned that decision. I do. After watching that fight, was it close? I mean, it could have been, but I still think that Felder had it. That's just my opinion. And if you don't like it, you know what you can do.
Nick, what did you think?
I agree with him. Like, usually when there's the decisions that people feel are close, when you take a step back and look at the fight, it's usually like, I couldn't get mad if it went that way. Couldn't have got mad if it went this way. You're kind of in the middle. I also agree. I think while it was a good fight, I think the decision was clearly correct.
Yep.
So they should do it a third time, and that's it.
I'll give my 2 cents before we go to Shorty. Okay, so I'll say this. I thought it was a close fight. I thought Felder did enough to win the fight. The only part I thought that was a little screwed up was, like, one of the judges gave Felder 30-27. I don't know where that came from.
True.
I don't know how. I don't agree that he won all. I think he won the round 2 and 3. I don't think there's no universe where he won round 1. There's just no universe. I think he did enough to win. It was close. Now, if Barboza would have won, I wouldn't have complained about it. I think it was close enough. But that's my 2 cents, Mr. Shorty Torres. What say you?
All right, cool. I'm fighting all you guys after this. So for me, it's funny because when he's like, this is my decision, you know where to find me. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm going to your house. All right. Given I could be biased, but I've also trained with Paul Felder with sport from my last camp. This one was with Barboza because he's at ATT. I thought it was a really close fight. Either way, the decision where it went, I mean, I could see where you guys have it coming from, but I believe Barboza won the first. Felder definitely won the second. That third round was very, very close, but I thought Barboza solidified it with that final takedown. But that's just me. Overall, I thought both of them put on a great performance, and there should be a third fight, but I gave that fight to Barboza. And a lot of the coaches here, given I know they're definitely extremely biased, but a lot of the people here were like, I mean, it was a good fight, but we all thought Barboza won. So, I'm gonna fight all 3 of you after this.
Well, because both fights were close, that warrants a rubber match more than anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're both very, very popular guys. They're both very fan entertaining. And stylistically, I mean, Barboza, if he gets the space, he's going to wheel kick you to death. He's going to kick you to death. And Felder, he's just going to grind it. The only problem that I had with Felder that fight is he threw the same combination all 3 rounds, which was a 1-2-3.
Yeah.
He was just looking for that left hook constantly. And he never adapted. And that's why I gave the fight to Barboza, because most of those combinations were kind of belittled. They were just put away or they were blocked or whatever the case may be, and kept Barboza on the fence. It was cool, but there wasn't much damage. I thought Barboza landed a little more damage, got the takedowns, and Felder did struggle, but he put on a hell of a performance.
Okay. I mean, yeah, like I said, I think it could have went either way. You know, like I said, I think Felder won, but it could have went either way. And I guess we're all fighting Shorty Torres after this.
No. Screw that.
Battle Royal style.
If all four of us agree, then what the hell do we have a show for? We have to agree to disagree.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Otherwise, it looks one way. Either we're kissing someone's ass or we just don't know what the hell we're talking about. We need agree to disagree. We have to.
100%.
That's how you know I'm the guest. I'm the devil's advocate here. Oh, hey guys, all right, cool.
There you go.
I'm Ugly Duckling, the Brady Bunch. All right, cool, I'm waving.
All right, so let's move to, of course, the main event, right? Khabib Poirier. Maybe there's not a whole lot to talk about here because it was pretty straightforward. You know, a lot of people, you know, Poirier had a great story. Khabib has a great story too. You know, Poirier's been on the hot streak for a while. You know, he's the Southern boy from Louisiana. He has a good story, real marketable, and he got in there, and Khabib does what Khabib does, and that was pretty much it. I don't know. I don't really know a whole lot to say about this. I thought Dustin was going to do a little bit better with stuffing the takedowns. I was completely wrong. Not out wrestle Khabib, but I thought his wrestling was maybe because all those ATT guys, like they're a very, you know, wrestle heavy camp. I could have sworn that ATT would have, you know, got him a little more prepared, especially just in the defense department. He tried. I mean, there was a few situations where he was against the cage. Khabib had him, and he would, you know, flip him over, but Khabib just hung on like a fucking bear, you know, and just wouldn't let go. I really thought that maybe Dustin was going to pressure him enough, not necessarily like dominate Khabib, but my prediction was that he was going to go in there and maybe just outpoint him, jab, 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 and just kind of keep his distance. And pressure him enough to maybe force Khabib out of his comfort zone. I was way the fuck off, and that's my spiel. But whoever wants to go first on this one.
I'm going first. I don't care, man. I'm hogging the mic, and the reason why I'm hogging the mic is because I cannot believe I'm going to go back to these wonderful marks who think that they know what they're talking about when it comes to MMA, and how many people were saying that this was a boring fight, and I was saying, which fight were you watching? It wasn't a boring fight at all. It actually had a couple of it had some good moments.
It did.
Like Poirier rocked Khabib once and then got that beautiful guillotine sunk in there. And I'm going to tell you, that was the most entertaining part of the whole night, in my opinion, because that showed somebody outmaneuver a beautiful submission attempt. He had that in there deep. A lot of people were really getting, you know, scared for Khabib for a second, but the way that he maneuvered out of that so calmly was just incredible. And that just shows the caliber of world-class athlete that Khabib is. And Dustin wasted no time tapping once that rear naked was sunk in there. His fate was written on the wall the minute that was locked in. And I thought it was a very entertaining fight, as a matter of fact. It maybe wasn't, you know, as back and forth as most MMA fight fans are used to or would like to see. But yeah. I thought it was fantastic, but I called that. In fact, I knew he was going to get that rear naked because that's what his camp has been pushing. I know his camp. I know what he's been pushing. And I know that that's just something that Khabib really likes to put. He loves that RNC. He loves that RNC, man. And you saw what he did with Conor, locked it in there. I mean, there was just no time there. I mean, I just think the torque that he puts on that is just so incredibly massive. So, I mean, I gave it to Khabib. I called that one. I called that one via submission, and I knew that was going to happen. I was surprised on his dominance on the ground. I really was. I thought Dustin would really make a run for the mat at least some point, but when he got down there, man, there just wasn't any chance. So that's my 2 cents. Now I'm going to shut the fuck up.
I could be the odd man out. I had a gut feeling. I thought Poirier was going to be the one to dethrone him. I just think no matter how the fight went, I think he has the tools to do it. The problem is just implementing the game plan. Nobody in the world is shocked at how Khabib fights. Everybody knows. You know what it's going to be. You know what he's going to do. I felt Dustin had the tools to stop him. I still believe he has the tools to stop him, and it just wasn't his night. I'll be the odd guy that thought that. I'm the minority, I think, but that's okay.
No, I was pulling for Dustin. I called for Dustin.
I really believed it was going to be him. I thought he was going to be the one.
Shorty, what looks like you want to say something?
He does. Let him get in here.
Hi guys, how you doing? So I've trained with both, and I've actually trained with Khabib physically. Poirier, I don't actually move around with him, but Khabib, knowing what he does firsthand, and when he gets you down, again, you know the mindset. You know, hey, he's gonna do this to me. I know exactly what he's gonna do, but for some reason you can't stop it. That shows how good Khabib is.
Yeah,
he's one of those guys that will literally tell you, "I'm gonna take you down with a double leg." Sorry, that's it. I'm going to take you down with a double leg. It's like if he had a gold medal in Sambo in the Olympics, even though it doesn't go that high. That guy is a multiple-time world champ Sambo fighter. This guy, I'm in the dorms. I look downstairs and I see Poirier training with Division I athletes, national champions, all these different guys, and he's able to get out, but it just shows the difference of level of competition Khabib is. Trust me, I thought the same way. I was like, I don't know. I think Poirier actually has a really good chance. He's good off his back. He doesn't mind getting taken down. And so I thought he was going to strike more. I was a little let down in the striking just because of how much Khabib's pressure is just implemented in the game. And he moved his head a little bit. He wasn't just like, oh, I'm going to walk forward, kind of like Wally Quinta. Yep. He moved his head. He threw his own combinations, and he was able to do beautiful transitions. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Poirier's going to strike. Oh, there goes the takedown. And yet every single shot was super deep. The only problem Khabib had in that fight, like you were saying earlier, was he did get dazed, which I'm really surprised he recovered so well against Poirier. Poirier is always trying to go for the finish. I think it was too aggressive with that and completely forgot about the takedown. And, it's just in the moment you got taken down again. But that guillotine, he didn't have it at first, and then he solidified it, and you're like, oh, my God, he actually might have it. But once Khabib turned to his side, you're like, he's actually struggling. If you're a fighter and you put someone on your back to do a guillotine, that's what you're supposed to do. They can't extend because the floor is blocking them. But if you're gasping for air because you just can't get out, you have to go to your side to create some space. And that's where Poirier is going to shine. But that's how tough Khabib is. Besides just being a great fighter, mentally, that guy just doesn't stop. But I think on that note, if Poirier is able to catch Khabib with a guillotine, what do you think Tony Ferguson's going to do? So that's just me.
True.
Tony's not afraid to get taken down. Tony's not afraid to be off his back and work off it. He's not afraid to get hit whatsoever. I think that guy's bled in almost every single fight he's had. And that's the fight, the fifth time's a charm, I guess, with this one. Hopefully it happens. But Poirier, man, I think obviously he should have tried to outbox him and not been afraid to get taken down and maybe try to work stuff off his back. But he was so focused on standing up because it's Khabib. He's the bear. He's the eagle. Whatever you want to call him on top of you. This guy mauls you, and that's sadly what happened. I think one of the biggest things in here, every single ATT guy was saying this, Poirier tried his infamous switch twice. Didn't work at all. Literally, Poirier does it to everyone here. He hit the switch on Khabib twice. Khabib still took his back. And it just shows how high of a level Khabib really is.
I think Khabib's had to upgrade his striking, though. And his striking is getting better. Not that, when your wrestling's that good, mid-range striking is good enough. But I also agree, and we've talked about this, it has to be somebody who's comfortable being on their back and working from their back. And that's Tony Ferguson in a nutshell, pretty much. And he's not afraid to get hit. He's not afraid to go down. He's not afraid to be on his back. He don't care if he's on top. It doesn't matter. And like he said, fifth time, keep them guys in a padded room, do the interviews so nothing can happen. No cake, no wires, no nothing. And seriously, like, this is a fight everybody wants to see. Like, I'm not even interested in GSP Khabib. Like, it's cool. It's a super fight. I'd rather see Tony.
Technically, it's going to be better with him and Tony because something else that happened during the fight that probably Tony Ferguson will take advantage of is that Dustin, when he rocked him, when he dazed him, the minute any time a world-class athlete is rocked, it's almost like a blueprint. It's like a blueprint is automatically put down there and said, you know something? He could be rocked this way. He could be rocked with a shot like that. So therefore, his offense and his defense, as amazing as they are, there's a crack.
Yeah, it's another piece of the puzzle.
And that can be exploited. And I think, honestly, Tony Ferguson and Khabib is the fight that everybody wants to see. I mean, super fights are nice and all, but super fights are really more for, I guess you could say, prize fights. I mean, you're still going to make money, but it's going to be so much more interesting watching Khabib fight Tony rather than GSP. It's going to be so much more. It really is. It's going to be more athletically competitive.
Well, let me ask you, I was going to say, let me ask you this.
Definitely more fan entertaining for sure.
Oh, yeah. For 100%. Well, speaking of that, I mean, what do you guys think? Because I think Ali was talking about GSP was first. Like, he just announced that, I think, today or yesterday. He said GSP is going to be before Tony. Like, you think that's just BS? Is it?
I hope. Because if, let's say GSP wins and he makes 55, what happens? Same thing that happened at middleweight. He's not hanging around 55. I don't even know. I mean, can he make 55 still?
It's not going to be 55. It's going to be. It'll be a catch. It'll be a catch. It's going to have to be a catch. I think GSP's too big for that. So I think it's going to have to be a catch somewhere between probably 160 or 165, and even that for GSP is a big cut. That's a huge.
Yeah, I mean, super fights are cool, but not that one. I'd just rather see.
I'm just not convinced. I'm just not convinced Tony Khabib's going to happen. I guess because it's been, we've been burned 4 times already. I just don't see it, man. I don't know. I won't believe it until they're in the fucking octagon and Bruce Buffer is announcing them. Like, I just won't believe it. I really won't believe it.
Wait, somebody.
One of them gets hurt right before the fight starts.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Don't do that.
No, one time it was a weight cut issue. There was weight cut. There was tiramisu. There was stripping on the cable.
Yeah, all kinds of shit.
I don't know, man.
You call her fight because of tiramisu. Something's wrong with your ass.
Wait, didn't somebody make a comment? Might have been Brian Ortega that said if it would have been his guillotine on Khabib, the fight would have been over.
It would have been over. That's what he said. Him? Yeah.
It's so easy to say that. It's so easy.
Right.
It's so easy to say that.
Well, Shorty, you're there. Dustin's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah, from what I know, he is a black belt. And again, he does tap out a lot of people. One of the guys he's working with is a high-level wrestler. Can't remember his last name. I think it's like Sidney Outlaw. I don't know his last name, though.
Yeah.
But he
I know Sidney.
That guy working with him is just such a high-level jiu-jitsu black belt. And them rolling, like Poirier's catching him with a couple of things, and Poirier's taking his back and getting up. And I'm telling you, he was ready for this fight. He just wasn't ready for Khabib, if that makes any sense. It's just one of those – and that's just one of those things. Like, he could have worked. It's like going with Cejudo. You might be a great wrestler, but doesn't matter how much I work in those 2-3 months of notice, I'm not going to be an Olympic level wrestler.
Right.
Nevertheless, a gold medalist. So it's not the fact of you got to be worried about getting taken down. I don't care about that. Hell, I could trip and fall and take myself down. It's, can I get back up? And if I can't, what am I going to do on bottom? And in that fight, the only thing Poirier did was try to stand up, except for that one guillotine. He's like, screw it, I'm losing this fight right now. Let me go for it. And it ended up working out really well for him. But what about Ferguson? Ferguson, just like John Jones, is awkwardly long. That completely changes the game plan. Dude, I'm 5'4". Anytime I fight some guy 5'7", all right, cool, I got to do this, do that. But when I fight a guy 6 feet tall and with the length span of my whole height plus some, no, yeah, it's definitely the whole takedown thing changes, not even just the entry. So for Khabib, it's who's he fought that has any type of similar body type style than Ferguson? I don't believe anyone.
How does it be?
I'm almost curious if the game plan changes for Tony. I mean, it hasn't changed in 28 million fights, but I feel like he adds something because Tony presents a different problem than anybody else has. I don't know. I don't know.
We're talking about what's next for Khabib, but what about the other flip of the script? What's next for Poirier now?
Connor. That's it. That should happen.
Okay.
Can we please stop talking about Connor, man?
It was just for the question.
No, I know it is the question, but something, we gotta put it in its proper perspective. And in reality, the man is a fight personality now. He is he's not a fighter anymore. He was a fighter, and he was a great fighter. But as of right now, the man is a fight personality. He's passed over more opportunities than God knows what, and everybody's still on this fucking Connor wagon. I'm not saying the man was a bad fighter. He wasn't. He was not a bad fighter, but he's always making himself out to be the best thing since sliced bread. And I'm like, in the UFC, if we're going ahead and comparing apples to oranges against other fighters, man, I mean, the only thing that you rank up in there is selling tickets and making money. But if we're talking legitimate fighting opportunities, he's just not in there right now. And I'm not interested. And I don't think a lot of people are interested till the shit gets done. I just don't think it's going to get done.
I don't think. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I will say this. I normally agree with that as far as Conor, because I'm kind of done with him too. But if Conor is going to get a fight, obviously it should not be Khabib.
No.
I don't even think it should be Tony. I don't think it should be. I think Poirier it's either Nate, to me, either Nate or Poirier. Do the trilogy with Nate or run it back with Poirier. I think those are the only two fights, because I don't think he deserves a title fight. He doesn't deserve some fucking super fight with GSP or whatever the fuck else they're talking about. He doesn't deserve that. I think those are the only two fights in my brain that even remotely makes any sense, instead of him jumping the fucking rankings again. So in this sense,
didn't he say he wants to fight Floyd Mayweather Sr. now?
Yeah,
I read. What is that?
I
He'd feel bad if Senior knocked him down, wouldn't he?
God. Oh my God. Oh my God. You know something? I'm gonna tell you. The only person that could really market that fight, I put a post on this in social media, and I said the only one who could probably really promote that fight would be from Rocky V, George Washington Duke. I could see him doing something like that. I'm talking about an international snooze fest to be held in Japan called No One's Gonna Go to Tokyo.
Wow.
Touch me and I'll sue.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that, Shorty?
I definitely think Poirier versus Conor makes a lot of sense. Conor coming back, it's just because he's the money king in MMA. He can pick technically any fight he wants because Dana's like, oh, what's gonna make us money? Yeah. Yeah, cool. And Conor, you can fight anyone you want. I think him versus Nate would be awesome for the trilogy. If not Poirier again, I think Poirier definitely deserves another shot. Conor, with everything happening behind the scenes, I don't believe he deserves anything. Again, I'm not a fan of the stuff he's been doing, whether it's in his country or our country, whatever the case may be.
Sure.
Just you don't act like that as a fighter.
Sure.
But I think Poirier right now, he's still up there. I don't believe he deserves a title shot anytime soon. But maybe the winner after this fight, Cerrone and Gaethje. I think if he has to fight Gaethje again, that's an awesome fight.
That's an
and
awesome
him fighting
fight.
Cerrone is just a spectacle overall. So I mean, either way, they both, they're claiming that Cerrone and Gaethje claim that, hey, if I win this fight, I'm next in line. Dude, there's like 10 guys in line right now with the lightweight. With how the lightweight belt is working, yeah, no, it's not going to happen. Why don't you two, whoever wins, fight Poirier next and just go from there?
I think that fight makes sense to me because Cerrone is just the undisputed, fight night king of the UFC, and Gaethje was basically the draw at World Series of Fighting. So I think that fight makes a lot of sense to finally come to fruition. But I think that they'd be very silly to throw Nate Diaz to Conor McGregor directly with all the time that Conor's had off, because Nate Diaz, after 3 years off, man, he looked fantastic. He looked absolutely fantastic. And I think, honestly, he'd mow over Conor right now with the momentum that he's got going on right there. So, yeah, Dustin does make the most sense and such. It's just, like I said, Conor is not an ambassador for MMA. He's not an ambassador for the sport. He's what you might call an anti-hero. He's more of an anti-hero than anything. But he's not an ambassador because he doesn't make the UFC look good. He makes the UFC money. But he doesn't make them. But in my opinion, he doesn't make them look good. I mean, he's not. He's not. I love it when he tries during his fights to show humility and such. And I'm like, that's great. But a true ambassador also conducts himself the right way outside of the cage and doesn't start fights in a local pub just because an old man calls your whiskey shit.
I'm almost wondering, like Shorty said, at what point does your out of the cage antics catch up with your? Like, eventually, I really thought he was done after the Dolly. I was like, all right, he's done. They're arresting him. Nobody's going to give a shit. And he still sells tickets.
There is no such thing as bad press.
I am not interested in him fighting as much as I am because of the opponent. I like Nate. I like Dustin. I would like to see them both get their shot with him. But the day won't come that I'm cheering for Conor, ever. It's just never.
It's marketable. It's money, and that's the sad thing is the UFC, Dana White can go on the press the day after and go, oh, whatever happened with John Jones, whatever happened with Conor McGregor, this should never happen again. But we're gonna promote him the next fight because this is awesome to put on the news. Oh, he's coming back through adversity. He's doing this. That's a load of crap. And that's the bad thing. It's being hypocritical. Dana White says this, says that, but then he's also the president of the UFC for a reason because he knows what's going to make money and the Dolly stuff. Maybe him punching an old man is going to make more views on the UFC.
Yep.
So the same thing with John Jones. Again, some of the money kings are the guys who've done the worst. You know, I guess besides BJ Penn, John Jones, and Conor McGregor, those guys are up there. BJ Penn, I'm sorry, man, you're out of your prime. But that's the bad thing about MMA is if it sells tickets, no matter if it's good or bad, they're going to promote it.
But not only that, the UFC juggernaut that it is, they're so good at damage control now.
Oh,
They're so good at damage control when their money men and money women fuck up. When they fuck up, man, it's almost like it gets swept under the carpet faster than a lot of other sports. And that just shows you the muscle that's behind, their damage control team. And I think that right there, they're saying, something, it's only going to get talked about so much. We'll sweep it under the carpet and, people will get back to what they're most interested in. And that's watching fights and not necessarily judging the person or persons for whatever the hell they do outside of the cage. So that actually shows that the UFC has got damage control taken care of.
All I know, as soon as the dolly landed, you're like, yep, Khabib and Connor's happening. This is perfect lead-up video.
That was a promo. That was a promo with no words. There were no words needed, man.
They didn't even have to sell that shit. It sold itself.
It did.
Yeah, 100%. Just jump into a point that I forgot which one made it. Talking about the winner of the Cowboy Gaethje fight. So I was actually gonna touch on that, like the implications of that fight. So that's kind of what I was thinking. So the winner of Cowboy Gaethje should fight for the title after the winner of Tony Khabib. Is that kind of a general consensus with everybody?
I could kind of see that, but if there's nothing else, no one wants to fight. Sure, why not? But I believe they should either fight Poirier or somebody next in line. I think definitely one more fight. I think one more very, very big fight is going to get him that title shot. But I don't believe this one is an immediate title shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although Cowboy, what was the statement he made? He goes, "What's everybody going to think when I take Khabib down?" That was his statement. That everybody would be surprised. But I agree with Shorty. I think even with the loss, Dustin remains at the top of the hill.
Sure.
One loss to an undefeated champion doesn't knock you, down the ladder. Somebody should he's still the guy, him and Tony. So somebody still has to beat him to earn the shot because he was on a hot streak beating everybody. So
yeah,
I think it warrants at least one more fight to, I don't want to say prove your worth because Cowboy's just like a legend. The fans love him. Everybody likes him, but there's a pecking order and you have to follow it.
Well, I don't know about that. UFC doesn't really follow that.
You should follow it.
I wouldn't say that.
You should follow it. You should follow it.
I wouldn't say that, but so Colby, this whole thing with so I'm going to completely jump. I'm jumping a whole nother topic here. The whole Colby Covington thing with and Masvidal, right? So ATT guys, right? What is going on with this? Because now they were friends, him and Masvidal, they were buddies, they're best friends, they're training partners. Now they're not anymore. All of a sudden, I'm under the impression, I think it's a fucking gimmick. I don't believe it. I think something happened, and they're like, hey man, maybe we can kind of stir some shit up and get some attention on us. I don't know if it's legit or not. I don't think it is.
You know what makes me not believe it?
I'm just smiling here, like.
Yeah, the only thing that makes me not believe it is Poirier made the statement, I'm not like him, I won't fight my friends. And he said, Colby, when I see you in the gym next, it's going to be me and you. So I don't feel like Dustin's a gimmick kind of guy, but I don't know. I'm not there. I think there's some legitimacy to the beef. And I don't want to say Colby uses gimmicks, but he does the heel roll. And he does it well.
Like a month ago, they were just talking about, like, they just did an interview, and they're like, him and Masvidal were buddies. They support each other. They live together. Like
the guy in the bottom corner probably knows, but we're not going to ask him because that's in-house. That's right. Look away. That's in-house. That's gym stuff. We can't ask him.
I do want to tell you this. So if it is a gimmick or whatever the case may be, we don't know. So we see, at least the couple weeks ago before Poirier fought against Khabib, you saw Poirier and Covington in the same gym but not training together. Colby is on a whole other side. Poirier is on the other side, So when we're watching, I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. We don't care. And then the whole betting thing came out of him talking smack about Poirier. And we're just like, all right, we're literally sending the ESPN stuff like memes to each other going, okay, this is it's getting a little out there. What I do believe Kobe's stuff is gimmicked, but I think it's going way too far at this point where both George and Poirier are like, all right, man, this is going just way too far. I don't mind you saying stuff here and there. Cool, this is your gimmick. This is your way to fame. But all right, now I gotta kick your ass. You're saying these things are going too far, or just he's stepping across the line. And what's that saying? Kobe's a habitual line crosser or line stepper.
A habitual line stepper. Yeah.
Well, the Dustin thing too.
Yeah.
But I was referring to the Masvidal Colby thing, not but there's the Poirier thing too. But now there's the Masvidal Colby thing that they're not buddies anymore, like the same kind of spiel.
I do want to say this. So we're running around today, for warming up, and I was like, who do you think would win in a street fight? Honestly, I think Colby's at the disadvantage. I think Colby needs rules. I'm in the dorms. There is a gigantic balcony window that we get to look down on the mats. I am ready on my tripod. I am ready on my phone. If it does happen, I have the exclusive. Dude, I'm not going to lie to you. All of us, given the coaches know more, the fighters obviously know.
Yeah.
But Poirier and Dustin seem to be handling it well. From what the quotes are putting out there, again, I don't know any of the inside. The quotes seem serious. Colby, on the other hand, you never freaking know what he's going to do. You never know what he's going to say. And again, like you said, he's the heel. Like it doesn't matter what he says; he's still going to say it. But Colby and Poirier, especially Poirier, he's not a gimmick type of guy. He is as wholesome as possible. So if you hear him say, "When I see you, I'm fighting you, I promise," you just look around and go, "Hey, Mike Brown, is he serious? Hey, Mako, is this really going to happen? Do we have to all kind of step in here and break it up?" So it's it's a crazy thing. But I mean, the Brazilians here are cool with Colby, even though Colby doesn't really talk to them. The Brazilians here are cool with him. So you just never know.
I think Masvidal wins the street fight. I mean, he came from fighting in the backyard with no gloves and shit. So,
well, both of them, Dustin and Jorge. So it's like Colby didn't have that. I think he grew up with rules.
Yeah.
I could be 100% stereotyping him, but he seems like a person that needs rules. He's like Ben Askren. If you start doing 1 FC, you start kicking in the face, you start running up and throwing knees and doing awkward stuff, then yeah, you're going to beat him up. But if it's just wrestling, yeah, he's going to dominate you. So
right.
I think he needs a rule set, not a street fight.
Interesting. Well, guys,
we're making bets in the gym.
I'd like to chip in on that.
Yeah.
Guys, we're going to wrap it up for that. I just want to thank our guests, Mr. Jose Shorty Torres, Mr. Jeff Houston, Mr. Live Worldwide. We appreciate them so much. Thank you for your time. And, guys, please smash the like button, share button, subscribe button, wherever you're watching from, YouTube or Facebook. We appreciate you so much. And that's it for Nick Portella, Jeff Houston, Jose Shorty Torres, and Joshua Furs. We are Combat Insiders, and we are out.